Howdy folks, this is David back with Carlton Arms. Just wanted to do a little review and go over the teardown process for the Ruger P90 at 45 that we did the comparison with on the high point. Just show you a little bit of stuff about it before we actually get into the disassembly of it. Like I said, they did stop making these some years back. Um, they're excellent shooting guns. They weren't the most popular gun. I mean, it was one of the earlier models of the polymer frame steel slide. They are heavy. They are very large in the handle. Okay, so function is excellent though. You know, you do have a single side magazine release. Pop the magazine out. Even though I know this is unloaded, I still keep it pointed in a safe direction. And as you've seen, there is no finger that ever goes into the trigger guard until we 100% make sure it's safe. Magazine out. Add the slide. Pull it back. There's nothing in there. Okay, we're good. We're safe. Awesome. All right. So, unlike a lot of the newer pistols out there, this one did not come with any Picatinny rail on the bottom, no mounting for lights or sights. It's just made to go just how it is, straight out of the box. And I can tell you this one, we have done very well with it. We've sat on the pistol range at 25 yards and actually shot clay set up on the burn. It is a very nice shooting pistol. Farthest I've ever shot this pistol is actually 100 yards. But good Lord, you're aiming up at the sky. You hit the gong, but you're aiming up the sky. Took a few shots to walk it up there. About 3 shots, walk it up, then bang the gong with it. They are just kind of a no frills pistol. Uh, Comfortable in the hand. As you'll see, I did take off the original Ruger grip. Did go back with a Hogue grip. It just fits my hand better. Everybody gets the one that fits them the best. Um, so it is a very reliable pistol. It does have a very steep, and once we tear it down, I'll show you the steepness of the feed ramp in it, which is why it will feed the 230 grains in the round nose, and it will feed the wind clean in the heavier load just fine. But the 185 grain wad cutters that I like shooting in the Springfield and in that high point that shot beautifully, this one will not feed them. Every time one tries to feed up, it just hits straight up. It will not allow everything to close. And actuality, that can be dangerous. Once I found out the first time, I'm like, okay, we're done with that one. We'll stick to what this gun likes. And you will find out over time, if you are new to shooting, there are some guns that are just happy with certain rounds and certain ones are not. I have a very finicky 30-30, old lever action Marlin. That sucker loves Remington Core-Lock ammunition. And I've even tried higher dollar ammunition. You don't know where it's going to go. But the Remington, you always know where it's going to go. All right, so we'll get into the teardown of this, and I'll show you the feed ramp and everything about it, and we'll dive into it. All right, folks, for this particular Ruger, excuse me. All right, it's pretty simple to tear down, but one thing that I've had several people that I've known that have had either the P90 or the 9mm version, the P89s, or the P97s. One little thing they forget to do that when they first get them, that's a little different in this pistol than a lot of others, is they forget to flip down this little catch right inside here. Let's see. All right. There's a little catch. Oop. There we go. Little catch right there. All right. And what that does is when the round feeds up, ejects back, it helps to throw everything out. So that little catch right there, it's just a matter of put your finger in there flip it forward. You can see that whole piece is flipped forward now. That is the one thing that I have seen prevent people from taking these apart. And it's just because it's a little different than several others. Okay, once that's done, your slide release here has a pin that goes all the way through. Right there. Matter of you got to get the tension off the slide, and then you're going to have to push that pin and kind of wiggle it around. All right, you're going to have to push that pin, and then you're going to kind of wiggle it around while you're holding tension on the slide back. You have to release that pin and pull it out all the way. And once that's done, it releases everything to slide forward. There we go. As you can tell, it's been a while, so this one is good to tear down and clean up and get it oiled back up, because it's been a while since we've messed with it. We haven't even shot this thing in a few years now that we did the comparison, so it's good. It's good to take it out and shoot it. But right now, we'll take the rod and spring out. A good number of your autos come apart this same basic way, with the exception of a few of them, like a Beretta or even a Taurus clone of a Beretta. You just push the button, flip the lever down, and then everything comes off. This one, a little simpler. You just push it, pull it out. Not simple as far as tearing it down, but simpler for the manufacturer. And that's a good way they can actually keep things a little more affordable. Okay. Barrel, just slide it right out. Okay. Now, this feed ramp right here is actually very steep. So that's why it has trouble feeding the wad cutters that have the shoulder on it. The round nose will feed straight up, no issues. Even the wind cleans, they're a flat nose, but they're a larger bullet that doesn't have a shoulder on the actual round itself. They will feed straight in there. The wad cutters that have the small tip with the shoulder on the projectile, they don't like to feed there. They like to come up and just go straight up. And that's not good. Especially in a dangerous situation, home defense, anything like that, that is really not good. All right. Like I said, this just needs a little TLC here. Like I said, this one is just polymer for the bottom end right here. And there's that piece right here. We'll get a little more light here. All right. There's that piece there that we flip down. And now we'll flip it back up so you can see it. And it just flips down to get it out of the way for you to pull everything down. If that is up, a lot of times you cannot get that thing. It'll kind of just want to flop back and forth. All right. Let's just get a little oil on here. Get on the pad. Clean the outside, the inside. And these are actually really nice little pistols. I say little, that's a relative term. You know, what is little to one person is large to another. I mean, my paws are not really small. They're not gigantic, but they're not really small. So for me, it's not a big pistol. For my wife, who also loves to shoot this because it's heavy enough that it really doesn't have much recoil, she likes shooting this more than she likes shooting any of the 9mm. Because the 9mm are lighter and they have a little more pop to them, a little more muzzle rise. And she doesn't care for that. She'd rather stick to a 380 and the smaller stuff, but she will shoot this 45. Okay. Get us some fresh pads. See, it's been a while. So these things are really good. You can tell, you can look at the barrel and see the wear on the barrel on the outside and the finish. That we have shot this a lot. You know, this was my first 45 that I ever bought, and we wanted to see what it would do. So we put a lot of rounds through it. And, some of the worst rounds we ever put through it were actually military surplus. And bought them military surplus. They were inside the old span can. Open it up, and the problem I ran into with that was you had a few of them that would not fire. Man, it would, the hammer would hit and nothing. So I would stand there with a pistol pointed down range just in case it was a slow primer, and nothing would happen. So eventually, after a little bit, you know, a couple of minutes, nothing happened. We go and eject that round, and we go back to shooting. Out of that entire box, 45 shells, if I remember, I can't remember, it's 500 or 1,000 rounds that were in it. It was not quite a third of them were just dead. Full primer hits, but I guess over sitting in a box for, you know, 60, 70, 80 years, they didn't work so well. Okay. That's out of the barrel. Okay. It's not too bad, but the inside of the barrel is pretty good. We'll get that dirty patch off, and we'll just push a couple of pink clean patches through there just to kind of get the oil out and the residue. They're coming out better already. All right. Now we just look down through the barrel. Probably not the greatest. Got to figure out which one of these cameras it is where you can actually see down in the rifling, but that's pretty daggum clean. All right. There's not a whole lot that needs to be done with the frame itself. You know, we'll get a little rub down on the rod. This rod does look a little different. A lot of your rods will be completely straight. This one has this little indentation on it. It goes towards the front. And when it is fired, you do see a little differentiation in the way it comes up. It allows a little bit of movement on the front end. Why that is made like that, I can only speculate that it helps with recoil. I'm not 100% certain. I've never actually researched that. I just know that it functions just fine. So, and we'll clean up the old polymer frame here. And this one is not steel on steel, and it's not your super, how would you say it? I don't know, fine finesse, however you say it, but it's not built like your super high dollar ones. You know, it works just fine. I recommend them. If you find one out there used and it's in good shape, go for it. You know, but it's not as smooth as some of the higher dollars. But you know what? Not everybody can afford the higher dollars, and I would use this thing to protect my family all day long, and I have carried this to protect my family, and I would do it all over again without a second thought. That's how much I like this. If I have something in my possession that I would not trust to take care of my family, I mean, even if it's just a little 22, but if I thought that I couldn't take care of my family with it, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, because that just wouldn't be right. You know, I'll get this, kind of clean up our area here. This good rub down. Like I said, these Hogue rubber grips, I did get a little bit of oil on this one, so that's going to take a little bit more rubbing down than normal, because you don't want oil on your grips. You leave it on there, you don't clean it off, over time it'll deteriorate and get gummy, and then that feels nasty and sticks to your hand and all that. These microfiber cloths take it off pretty good. All right, good slide, good rub down here. You know, and if you go back and if you haven't seen the video where we took this to the range and did the comparison between this and the Springfield and the High Point, and y'all like to see that, just go back to the channel and watch it. You know, it was good. You can see that all three of them did just fine. You know, I wouldn't hesitate to carry any of the three. The High Point is the heaviest out of them, but there was no issues in the way it shot. No issues in the way this Ruger shot. No issues in the way the Springfield shot. So, I mean, all of them were good. They're all good. Yeah, let's get that off there. Yeah, you know, if y'all have a place to go shoot, go shoot. Look for a range, indoor, outdoor. Myself, I prefer outdoor ranges only because I really like being outdoors. So that's just me. Some people prefer indoor ranges, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I did an awesome indoor range. We were in Cody, Wyoming, and got to shoot my first Gatling gun up there. Old school crank Gatling. They had a chambered in 45 Colt, and that was awesome. It was right there in Cody. It's a gun shop right in Cody, and you got a whole selection of different things you can go in there and pay to shoot. It was pretty daggum awesome. All right, put the rod back in the spring. Gonna slide the barrel. It was in the slide. Bring it back. Get that spring in there. Get it all centered up right there. Okay. The swivel comes back, and that's where the rod on this will actually go through right there, that hole. Okay. Now this one, this polymer doesn't get very slick with the rim oil that I usually use. So we're going to use a little Lucas oil on this one just to make it a little slicker. A couple of drops, and then we'll rub it in, because a little bit can be too much, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Just use the finger, rub it in there, wipe off the excess so it doesn't go running out or get gummy and track dust and dirt and all that stuff. All right. Okay. That way we just got a little oil on that rod there to go in a little easier. The whole trigger section here goes against that rod, so it's pretty stiff, but if you needed to move the rod back and forth a little easier, you just pull the trigger down a little bit, and it kind of releases it because it sits right on that rod. So we'll go ahead, slide it all back together. And this one, I'm not going to lie, sometimes gets a little ornery. Yep. Yeah, we're still pushed down. And this has been one of the things people have complained about these is when they tear them down and get them back together. You know, the rod wants to hang up in there and come off the side where it will not fit down perfectly in the groove here. So that's why it hangs up, and Fortunately, I don't have x-ray vision to make sure it's always centered up. So you get that sucker centered up in there just right. All right. Just get that thing pushed back in there. All right. We got the rod there, barrel. There you go. All right. Push the rod back to where the rod's set all the way back. You know, the rod does come forward sometimes, but from that, bam, it's all set. We're good to go. You know, good function. Like I said, we just push that right back through there. Like I said, this one you got to fight with a little bit, you know, but it's okay. And if you're ever not comfortable tearing them down and cleaning your own, and talk to your local gun shop, and they can either clean them for you or they can recommend you where to get cleaned. You know, some of them have little tricks to them to tear them down and put them back together. Others are very straightforward. This Ruger here, there are some little tricks to it. You know, sometimes you got to fight with the slide a little bit, getting it back up, getting it lined up. The rails on the inside actually have a circular groove cut in them that the slide rod runs under. And if that is not just perfectly lined up, it will drive you nuts trying to get it through there. I love this pistol, but yes, sometimes putting it back together, it can get a little aggravating at times. You just get frustrated with it, and it's kind of a test in patience. And that's okay. You know, we all need to learn a little more patience sometimes. All right, so that is the Ruger P90, and it's a good one. You know, like I said, you can find them used in good condition for around $375. Gun Broker, Guns.com, places like that. They have not made them in quite some time, but this sucker's one to just keep on and going. All right. Thank y'all much. And the next time you watch one of our videos, man, just let us know if there's something that you would like to see on there. Just let me know. Hit a comment up. You know, if you think everything's good, you like it, man, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see our videos when they come out, hit the subscribe button, and man, you'll get notified when we come out with something new. We're working on some stuff to come out for the future, and we think people will like it. We hope people will like it, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right, till next time, this is Dave with Carlton Arms.